ways during the exercises at Cold Lake Air Force or CFB, excuse me. And did some different things. And I wanted to play with two things as we do recaps. One is I'd like to hear from each agent about like how you're reflecting on the day as we enter our next scene, and also I will allow two skills that you can upgrade.
Ooh.
Usually it would be like if you failed some rolls, you can redo those, and it's like a 1d4. I just want to learn a little bit more about the mechanics around this, so I will say just you can pick two skills, and as you're kind of telling your story, roll a couple d4s. First roll a d100, try to roll above your skill that you're upgrading, and then roll a d4 to upgrade said skill. No punishment if you fail. But, you have been doing joint training exercises. You have been learning from your peers. You've been teaching. And I think that no matter what, at a game, like no matter what somebody's teaching, you learn a little bit. Hopefully, you learn a little bit each time you teach something. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to just roll a little d4 here, going in order as usual on my Foundry. And I rolled a 2, which is Alex. Alex, why don't you set the stage for us about how you spent your day?
Yeah, it was a weird one. Kind of got going, once we got on that big plane and there was more guns around and more military folk, it started kind of getting a little real for me. And then I just, I don't know, kind of felt a little fish out of watery. But as soon as we were in that golf cart, driving over to our bunk, kind of started to warm up to folks a bit. I don't know, they seem like generally good people, but much like everyone else, it seems like no one really knows what's going on. That bar was a trip. Man, that dude needed to piss.
and a good jukebox, if I recall. You got him engaged with Blink 182, and then you just like downshifted immediately to like Distillers or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's weird. I don't usually leave home, so kind of just being not even just away from home, but like kind of out in a bar in the middle of nowhere with people I don't know. I've tried to ground myself with some music, but I just really wasn't comfortable. I did just try to sit and listen and kind of gather everybody's general temperaments and try to understand how we're all kind of being put together here for whatever it is we're doing. Something I can't shake, something I keep thinking about is on the ride home, it's just seeing that sky and watching the stars all kind of blur together. Something about it, I don't know, I'm gonna remember that forever. I think that's gonna be it. I don't know if that's what you wanted.
Yeah, just what you're thinking like after that day of training. So that's what you're reflecting on. That's fucking perfect. I mean, you saw, if I remember right, as you just said, like the night sky for the first time in this sort of brilliance.
Right.
Especially
the training thing was the next day, right? That was the first night.
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
that's right. That's right. So we're picking up at the end of the training day.
Yeah. So let me recap that day too then, really quick.
My chair gives me the most hilarious shape in the background. Been working those lats. Go ahead.
Yeah. So finally fell asleep after playing Phantom Hourglass on the DS for a bit there. Woke up in the morning. I forgot I needed to learn how to tie a tie. My mom was like, dude, you gotta know how to tie a tie. And I was like, Mom, I know. Forgot. Anyways, I don't think people really cared. Once we were there were so many people there. Everyone was kind of in their own little thing, doing their own little thing. And, I think I was largely unremarked upon. When it came time to look at the systems, though, I felt a little more comfortable. I felt like I could just kind of do my thing and people could watch and learn. But, it's tough when you're working on a system that's not something like that's yours, something you haven't configured, and you see weird things in the system, and you kind of try to get in someone's head, like how and why did you go about it this way? Why did you build it this way? And that kind of leads me to this. There was that string of code. There was this code that was reoccurring like everywhere. It was just, God, I just removed it. It was bugging me too much. It made no sense. And I was worried that it's something that was regulating so much, the alarms, the temperature, everything, like having like rogue code in there like that. That's just bad practice, man. I just, much like the stars and seeing them blur like that, and the code itself there's just something about this code that I can't, it's like burned into my mind right now. I think I only saw it like 15 times, yet I have it like perfectly memorized. I don't know what to do with it right now, but I'm gonna have to sit down with it later and just try to figure it out. But right now it looks like we got a weather event coming, and I don't know. I'm just gonna try to stay out of everyone's way.
Fantastic.
So what do you think are the skills you're gonna roll out of that?
I'm wondering if this is going to be, I think alertness probably, because of just sitting at the bar and trying to like listen to everyone's conversations, and probably navigate, honestly. So yeah, navigate and alertness. I'll roll 2d4. I'll roll one at a time.
Yeah, roll your check first. You're trying to roll above your number.
Oh yeah. That's okay. That
You're
was
pretty alert.
Yeah.
You did hear a lot of the conversations at the bar. Give me that navigate.
That should be a fail.
69. Nice. Over 10.
Is that really a failure? Okay.
It's the best possible outcome. Yeah, so roll a d4 plus 2. So you take 4 extra points in navigate.
Hell yeah.
Because you rolled a 69.
Mapping,
Like, we're making that a house rule. So.
Okay, sounds good. Cool.
Awesome. Kick ass. All right, let's go with a d3. And that gives me a 1. Dr. Billy, how has our deputy, Marshal Jackson Shaw, reflected on his 24 or so hours here?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to direct everyone to the chat where I post the artwork I speed ran last night when I had the chance of our good deputy marshal. Requires a little bit of zoom in. Just like if you zoom in, you'll notice he's wearing an Atlanta Falcons hat because naturally being from Georgia.
Amazing.
But so his experience, sort of starting off kind of chipper and eager to learn, eager to see what's going on. A little cautious at all the different branches, being at work here and a seemingly strange circumstances to have all this massive attention in this one area for training exercises. Something wasn't clicking, but he was rolling with it because that's what he does. After a strange encounter in the bar where after he also tried to go to the bathroom, a woman who looked oddly like his wife, just younger, but tried to, what's the word for it? Proposition him.
Feel him up.
Yeah, like, and what was it? Busting it down sexual style, as the kids like to say.
With minimal roleplay from my side.
But
Yeah.
he rebuffed her and tried to escaped into the bathroom only to see her disappear before his eyes. No one else seemed to see this person, so he was kind of unsettled by that, unsure if he was just hallucinating something or if, regardless.
Jet lag, It's
jet lag, just hallucinate someone feeling you up, like,
and you
happens to the best of us.
You just came back from an op, basically had dinner with your family, and then left again. So
left immediately.
Who knows, the last time Jackson has actually slept in his own bed.
It's true.
So he just about to for the first time in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So he, goes about his day, enjoys his horrible poutine, but doesn't know the difference, so he had a great time with it.
This is amazing.
And was ready to start the day overnight. And the I was gonna say, I forgot. I don't know if this would be a good opportunity to talk about what he found in that envelope that his wife gave him, because he definitely would have looked at those.
Does he open it like before he went to bed or something like that?
Yeah, I think that would be a good opportunity.
All right.
To do so.
I'm going to try to not use luck rolls too much tonight. I know I used them a lot last week, but this does call for a luck roll.
Okay. All right. I'm going to... Which dice do I think are going to...
Oh, the purple ones for sure.
I do have purple ones.
Do you have leopard print die by chance?
No, I don't, tragically. This is under 50, or 50 and under, right?
50 and under, yeah.
All right, come on, baby. 59.
59. You open the envelope, and if I recall correctly, you pushed the sanity damage. You took a little bit.
Onto.
You pushed it onto your wife.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name again?
Dahlia.
Dahlia. Oh, what a great name. Yeah, so you open it, and Dahlia, ironically, her favorite flowers are violets.
Oh. Okay.
And you unfold a note, and it's got like a pressed violet on the inside, like in between two pieces of cellophane. And it's something that Jackson probably gave to his wife when they were courting, because he's so fucking... I feel like he's the kind of person who would say courting. Like he's an old school gentleman. You know, yeah, absolutely.
He was raised right.
And it's like, dearest Jackson, if you're reading this, it means that you've left yet again. You know how much I love you and how much you mean to this family, but there's only so much of this that we can take. I'm not angry with you. I appreciate everything that you do to provide for us, and the type of father that you are to our children. I can never ask for better. But please, please, come home. Love, Dahlia.
Yikes. Well, at least they're not... He literally says, well, at least they're not divorce papers.
They're not divorce papers, dirty photos.
Which means...
Or, I liked all the speculation in the chat, though.
Yeah. Which, you know, and he literally says, like, which means I can recover this. So he does, I'll say he does send Dahlia a good night text. I might retcon slightly, but he does not call her like we discussed. In the morning, he gets ready to work, was it TAC Ops is the term?
Yes.
And he gets his team together, make sure everything is working properly. Everyone has their, everything. No one has any security concerns. Everyone is on the up and up. And he does really well. His team is on top of their jobs. Everyone is, getting in what they need to get in, not getting in what they're not allowed to get in, going smoothly. And while he's taking a break he hears some discussion about someone at the base, one of the technicians, I believe, freaking out over something he saw in one of the hangars. And
they were out having a smoke when you were taking a little break. Yep.
And he goes over and starts talking to him and asks the guy, asks what he saw, and he said that there was something that touched him when his back was turned, touching his shoulder and then going inside of him. Didn't see, but he just felt like something had entered him, and he was given pills by a friend of his and hoped to, take the edge off. So Shaw played it off. The guy apparently was working, I have written down, 20-hour shifts to pay for his mom's DUI. So Shaw sort of played it.
I did not.
Yeah, no, it was good. Shaw played it off and made a note to check out that hangar later and potentially follow up with this guy. But that was where he left off. Just what in the hell's going on around there? Weird.
I love that you're taking a sip of beer or whatever, because that seems like what he would do. He's like, oh,
it's just like
somebody gave you a fucking Miller Lite or a Rainier or whatever. And you just it's been a long fucking
This
day.
is the a strawberry blueberry Berliner Weiss from Trillium in Boston.
Ooh, local.
While some enjoy Treehouse more, I've never been failed by Trillium.
I do want to say, Elias, when you described that, like the way Billy's dude was feeling that hand, like touch him from behind, like I got like crazy ass goosebumps when that was
Oh
happening.
man, I'm so glad because I
just got it again right now.
I didn't prep any of that. You guys
That was
just
awesome.
sort of gave me a narrative that I could work with. And like, just a quick aside, I've already said it in chat and I said it last week, but this is what you get when you're friends with me is a lot of I love you, man. I really enjoy running for all of you because, yeah, it's very compelling, the kind of stories that we're telling together, and it's fucking phenomenal. You give me
Thus
so
far, you're
much to
doing
work with.
fantastic. Just
Yeah, man, really
Thank you.
exceeding expectations.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
I almost forgot the skills.
Skills to pay the bills.
Thing is, like, I think human probably would make sense. He's keeping an eye on people, making sure he's getting into, not just because it's one of his better skills, but
Tough role, but it's a nice one
Yeah.
to bump up if you can.
it'd be a tough one. But I don't know what the other, like, I feel like he's not, like, I don't know what exactly he would have been doing during his shift that would be
I mean,
like an
if you want to,
appropriate skill.
if you want to be like, hey, he was just kind of organizing stuff, but somebody really needed help with this heavy machinery or
okay.
this first aid.
Gotcha.
You can just
That's a good idea.
hand wave your way into the skill check.
It's not a huge, like, it's not a huge win or loss either way. We'll say persuade. He had to do some talking to get people to, you know, chill out and follow the rules and, you know, without causing a disturbance. So I'll roll human first. Come on. You failed me once. Can you just fail me again? Of course not. Rolled a 43.
43 on the old human. No, you're
Great
really
success.
Good at it.
Yeah, I know.
You're very tied into people's intellect and intelligence, and you try to say you're like, I'm learning nothing new about humans.
Yeah, like, I mean, this, which makes sense. This is kind of like what he does. Like, he's exhibiting his skills rather than improving on
Sure.
them. Well, let's see if persuade.
I like it.
first. Come on, baby. No, 22 crit success.
Persuade is a
He's
crit
he's
success.
just too good.
Good. He's so good. He's Jackson Shaw.
He's Deputy Marshal Jackson Shaw.
Guy should have
alright.
his own fucking TV show. All right, kick
Alright,
ass.
sounds good.
So let's see. Psychosis will be number 1, and Slip will be number 2 on my D2. And that is a 1 for Matt.
James.
James Rutherford.
And on his end, you know, he spent the first most of this before the actual, you know, event started. You know, watching his presentations and hanging out like why am I here? You know, kind of got a briefing of, you know, negotiating and doing some investigation and working out some deals, but you know, going in, didn't realize it's some sort of like military hoedown, basically. You know, he was expecting a lot more other groups around, you know, corporations and more locals, as opposed to, you know, every 3-letter agency, you know, plus some. So I would say he spent most of the day just trying to figure out how things are working, trying to read the subtext of what's going on around him. And, you know, once he actually got into his actual assignment, he's still kind of a fish out of water because yes, he had some persuasion, but his other skills are more investigatory and technical as opposed to, you know, working on an agreement or negotiating with people. But he does have some empathy for the local situation, and was intrigued by the conversation in the bar the previous night, and you know, had been looking out for those folk. Of course, when the storm hits, he's seen some storms in the wild. This one seems wilder than most, though. Very, very curious what's going on with that. I think Yeah, I think skill-wise, we'll use persuasion and environmental science or whatever, and those went well. But I think like throughout this experience, maybe some of his bureaucracy and some of his law skill may have come in handy at various parts of that negotiation and the day to try to work these agreements out and get things straight.
For sure.
So I guess that's what I'll go for. See what happens. Wherever that is. There it is. Bureaucracy.
Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Sales.
Nice.
Bureaucracy.
Roll above. That's what you want. Give me that D4. Take that
Got it.
dopamine hit.
I love the photo of James Rutherford's face.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so good, right? He's so
Is that
handsome.
not fantastic? Yeah, that's a great one.
Oh,
Don't-
Max. Nice.
Don't look at mine yet. There it is. I fixed it. I realized I uploaded the whole file and it just like made my guy really tiny.
Yeah, I just cut and paste my description right into, what was it? It wasn't Dolly, but another one of those like portrait generators, and it popped out with that, so I was pretty happy.
I'm gonna
Let's
try
go.
to get some in the field version of Alex versus Coffee House Blues.
All right, failed
Not a
again.
failure.
Next same roll.
Right.
Ew.
Nice. Another
Oh.
D4. Guy,
Oh.
this guy can't lose.
Dagnabbit, I don't
In a
know.
different way.
Yet he only loses to win.
All right. 2 more points on law. Awesome. 2 extra percentile.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Yeah. James, because pizza, I don't think I gave this in the download. James was sort of negotiating or calming down members of the local indigenous community, members of the CFB Cold Lake Environmental Department, Precision Drilling, and Synovus Energy, who are all basically at odds of whether or not this land should be further exploited. Like Cold Lake CFB is full of oil and gas wells in real life. Like they're peppered. It's peppered with production, but of course that means weapons ranges need to be constructed a certain way. Flight pattern. There's a lot of safety that goes into all of that, and the local indigenous community was basically like, no more. Like you've taken what you need out of the space between these interests, and this is ours. Awesome, James. Nice little bump and good stories. And last but not least is Megan, aka Slip, aka CIA agent extraordinaire.
So, Megan Parks. She was chosen for her job for a reason. Her personality and her personal issues kind of fit the CIA. She tries not to feel things too deeply or think too hard about her job in terms of, ramifications and who she's hurting. She usually starts her day with kind of a cocktail of antidepressants and stimulants and things that kind of keep her distanced from her emotions and able to cope with the everyday stresses of it.
Keep the cheese on the cracker.
Yeah, keep the cheese on the cracker. She seems always, things don't seem to get in and to affect her. But something about these first few days, just not even knowing what she was doing here, has got her on edge. That first day, when they ended up at the bar, she picked up some clues and was getting to know her own crew a little bit better. But even then, there were those hints about the locals, the local native people having issues, that in her mind kind of bordered on, spiritual, in terms of objection to things that were going on. And then the next day, that woman with her in her class had really kind of gotten to her. Like, she had volunteered to do that role play, and then what she was talking about didn't make sense in terms of, you know, what they were actually role playing, but it gave her kind of the heebie-jeebies. Afterwards, I think she probably hunted down Alex and said, you know, you can find things on the internet with an image search, right? I've never done that before, but I hear you can. And she would have showed him the picture that she took of that woman's backpack. And we can get to that later, but has him do an image search on it, and she kind of looks over his shoulder and pays attention. So I think one of the things that she's going to roll for is computer science. She's got a base in it, but she's not very good.
Sure. Especially like trying to be trained from Alex. I love that.
Yeah. So that's a failure.
41. You're like, I do know how to image search.
Yeah, I definitely know how to do that, lady.
So that's a 1d4?
Well, you... yes. Sorry. Thought it was a crit for a second, but...
No, I failed it.
Points.
Okay.
Computer science.
Yeah, she is like, oh, that's easy. I should have known how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, one of those things.
You watch Alex do it, you're like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah, my phone could do that. All right.
And the other thing she does is she kind of sits down and starts looking into the history of the people here. And so I think the history is the other thing she's gonna roll for.
That.
So that's another
failure
fail.
Again. Yep. What we like to see at this stage of the game. There's a little D4 at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's 1 point there.
1 point of history.
Okay.
I'll give you a bonus point for the double failures. I'll give you 2 points in history.
All right.
2% better chance.
Okay. Well, and that is it. With the storm closing in, that's kind of what she's thinking about and doing that night.
All right. Awesome.
Now I want to learn more about our Benny.
Our camera now pans to Benny. Agent Benny. Yes. Tell us about your last 24 hours.
Well, it's been pretty standard for old Benny. I mean, he's a career military man. He's been, spent a lot of time in Iraq and Afghanistan, so he knows about quick leave and go on the next assignment. So he was prepared, and old Benny is just all business all the time. He's, spent his time, as we saw, cleaning his weapon, making sure he is all set, kind of holding himself away from everyone. And he's probably spent the best chunk of his time over the past 24 hours researching his reason for being here, using his SIGINT to study the Cold Lake communications and everything related to the exercise and why he's here. You don't rise to the rank that he did in the Marine Corps without being prepared and being all business, ready to go. Of course, being a Marine, you're always a rifleman, so he also studied his firearms and did some practice. So those were the two that he worked on over the evening.
Also, just so you know, when you were unable to speak, but when we were like all being transported, or someone was driving in this golf cart to our lodging, like I was like nervously eyeing you because you like had a very visible gun, as far as Elias had described it, and I kind of used it as like a thing where, but your character generally made me uneasy. Just so you know.
Well, it's not the first time he's had that effect on a civilian. I mean, it's a different life, the military, and he's used to it. But it is what it is. It's the job. It's what he signed up for, and that's why he's here.
Hell yeah.
You know, I think he was a little hesitant to go to the bar. In fact, he had to think about whether or not he was going to call his sponsor. I decided ultimately not to. You know, he can handle. And he did enjoy it, but you know, it was a little distracting, a nice temporary distraction, but we need to get back to the mission. That's kind of the attitude, the focus here. Okay. All right, so am I rolling as well?
Yeah.
All right.
So you can pick 2 skills, any skills, during your training exercises the next day that you may have called upon or may have just tried to improve by talking to colleagues from other agencies and Canadian Forces, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, same routine. You're trying to roll over, not under, despite me forgetting that sometimes. And then a D4.
So that is a failure?
All right, so roll a
Hell yeah.
D4. Prove that skill, Benny.
Oh, by what?
By 2.
By 2. Okay. All right.
I'm not going to let anyone take a 1.
All right. So that was SIGINT, and then here
I'll
comes
let you take a
firearms.
loss, like no problem. All right,
Hey,
firearms.
Nice.
All right. That's the. He spent most of his time studying the layout here of the
It's another 2.
Canadian communication setup. You know, his sort of wheelhouse there, and but you must always continue working to improve your firearm skills.
Fantastic stuff. All right, so Benny is back with the group. You're at the edge of the sort of main hangar where the keynote address took place, the briefings, the little like subgroups that you're all divided into, and our camera sort of opens onto that. The sun is setting. There's like long orange rays over the airstrip, but as you can see, like dark storm clouds are starting to erupt off in the distance, which is very common in this part of the world. This is the equivalent to like U.S. prairie type states, where you don't have a lot of natural blocking of wind of storms, so things get whipped up very quickly sometimes, and those dark storm clouds are sort of consuming some of the light, swallowing some of the horizon. You feel a bit of tension in the air as our music rises, with the last jets just returning to base from their exercises, the UAVs, the other technologies that were demonstrated here, and you see a whole bunch of staff just running around like fucking crazy, like trying to get these planes in, trying to get people safe, like let's move it here. And you can hear the sound of tornado sirens going off. You all would recognize the noise, standard. And our camera pans to the faces of all of you as you're standing sort of on the edge of this hangar outside of the rain. And, your expressions are what they are. The clouds are churning. They're moving faster than they should. Like the sound of thunder is rumbling. Like this is clearly something building. You see white lightning flashing faintly around, and one of you, I'll just roll a D5 because we're using digital dice. A 1, so Jackson sees off in the distance like funnel clouds starting to form, like tornadoes. Again,
Okay.
not a pleasant sight, but not uncommon in this part of the world, and it matches the fact that there are tornado sirens going off. You also start to see like small hail start to fall on the airstrip. You can hear it like banging off the metal roof of the hangar that you're in. and you do see the few trees that you can see from here off the sides of the runways are sort of like bending under the force of the storm, and you can smell what we've all smelled in our lives in real life is ozone in the air. Like that smell like of a thunderstorm impending. Like, don't play golf right now. Don't fly a kite. That the hair on your back of your neck is standing up a little bit. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he's gonna just like radio his team and say, "All right, switching gears, folks. Let's make sure everyone's finding shelter. Everything's getting in. Everything's strapped down. Try to focus your efforts on cover and safety. Over."
And you hear Team Alpha, over and out, understood. Team Beta, over and out, understood. Team Charlie, over and out, understood. And you can see like some of the field commanders that you had trained that morning start to like move their squadrons or whatever you want to call it into safe areas, which actually is a good part of a training exercise. It's a very real scenario. It's a very likely scenario that there's like an earthquake or a storm or a hurricane or whatever, that you're kind of observing them and you're like, no, they're doing a good job. Some fine men and women here leading that, and you see the rain falling like lightly, and then all of a sudden you all are looking at the sky and it's just like a fucking torrential downpour. Like somebody is pouring buckets out of the sky mixed in with hail. There's puddles forming on the runways in front of you. I would like everyone to give me a spot hidden.
Spot hidden.
Search?
Is that search?
Search?
Alertness.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of those skills are fine.
Spot hidden is...
Spot hidden is Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Not making.
Let's edit that out of the final take there.
Baby. God damn it!
All right, success, failure,
I'm marking it.
success. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely mark your
Yeah.
failures tonight.
Check that
We'll
bad
we'll
boy.
follow the real rules from now forward.
94
instead of just
over
random
70.
skills. So there should be a checkbox next to a skill. You can just check that you failed it, and then we'll do the rolls next time. All right, Megan,
Big fail.
Alex, James, and Jackson. You all are kind of like just talking to each other, like, fine. Like, we're done our exercises. Like, when are we gonna fucking get out of here? But our dear friend, Benny, stoic, looking off onto the horizon, you notice that something is off about these clouds. Like, it's subtle, and it's probably just a weather pattern you've never seen before. Like, it doesn't seem fucking sketchy. It's just like, it's almost like the storm clouds are moving in a circle in the thunderhead, and then forming themselves into tornadoes as they go. Sirens blaring. Around the corner from the hangars, a big black Suburban comes up, and you see Major Noah Yellowtail and Lieutenant Kayla Whitestone in the front seats. And our camera pans back to them as they're ripping around the hangar, and they're like, we gotta pick them up. You see Major Yellowtail's like weathered face lined with tension as he's gripping the wheel loosely, but still, like, this is not the best situation he's ever driven in. His voice is low, and he's like, this storm, Kayla, this storm. We've had summer storms like this, but this land is restless. My grandmother spoke of this, something beneath the ground waking, and the camera immediately cuts to Kayla Whitestone, Denny officer, and she pulls her jacket tight, kind of like zips it up in the passenger seat, She's like, we should have called off training sooner. I fucking told them not to do this. This was such a bad idea this time of year. Tornado warnings aren't new, but these are something else. And she picks up her cell phone and is looking. The camera goes over her shoulder and then zooms in on the screen of her phone. She's looking at like the Environment Canada website, where it's showing these weather anomalies touching down at infrastructure points, pipelines, power plants, railway connections, the Edmonton airport, which is the airport you flew into, which is where your plane is. Our friend from the EPA. She's like, infrastructure is not something that gets randomly targeted by storms. It seems like it's targeting us, and cuts back to Major Yellowtail, and it's like they've all told stories. We've heard this our whole lives. Are we really beholden to this? This is just simple science. And Kayla's like, you're right. We need to stay focused. We need to get these people back to their temporary homes. And you see like a cacophony of noise, 6x6s, more Suburbans, Ford Tauruses, base personnel type vehicles, just picking people up and moving them around as the Suburban careens around the corner. And Kayla reaches behind her and flings open the back door. She's like, get in, we're taking you back.
This is happening in front of us?
Yes. Like right in front of the hangar.
Yeah.
This black Suburban rolls up, camera cuts back to you, back door flings open. They're like, get in.
Well, actually, I don't know if this requires a roll, but like, we're staying in a double-decker bus. Is that safer to be than in a hangar?
Yeah, that's what my character was like. Just where we want to be during a tornado, a bus.
And they're like, we've moved all the temporary accommodations indoors. Don't worry.
May I human that?
Yeah, sure.
I want to see if this is genuine.
For pizza, unlike like my Pathfinder games and shit, like if you want to call a roll after I'm talking about some shit, just do it. Tell me what you're doing. Like,
Sweet.
don't be shy when it comes to that.
Just drop
Because
my dice.
it's Delta Green, baby.
So
Oh, there it is.
Billy's just trying to find his dice. Also, make sure you have your dice in your hand.
It's true. It's
roll
good.
with your
25 under 60.
25 under 60. She seems earnest.
Okay.
Like you're looking at, like, they both look a little bit scared, but they are confident, and they are still serious as military personnel would be.
Plenty of reason to be scared.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
he's gonna
there's planes and there's all this technology and contractors. Like, there's a lot of expensive shit sitting around for CFB Cold Lake, and they're just trying to basically evacuate people. But they're like, no, we put all the temporary accommodations, the ACO trailers, the your double-decker bus, people who brought their own RVs and trailers. We put them in some of the storage hangars that we have around the base. You'll be safe tonight. Don't worry about that. But you can't. You can't risk it on your own.
He's gonna like look to the other group and like look back and go and nod and say, "All right, let's not waste any more time, shall we?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Megan hops in and sits down and kind of mutters to herself as she opens a pill bottle. Nervous? Who's nervous? And just shakes one out. And dry swallows it.
40 milligram propanol.
Oh,
You're
man.
like, all right, so the camera kind of like pulls back, and we see Megan just. All right, fuck it. The rest of you get in, I assume. Or
Yes.
Yeah.
not? Okay. So Benny's got his rifle case, his trusty SIG spear with him.
Last one in.
The rest of you have your backpacks and other equipment. And we see that camera pull back, and our black Suburban is like ripping around the corner of this hangar, like full on fucking Tokyo Drift styles, just getting the fuck out of there. Like it's a 3/4 ton Suburban with skinny tires, and it's just like around the outside. You see like the rain hammering down on it, the hail. It's super fucking loud inside, like the hail and the rain on the roof and on the windshield. It's incredibly loud for, you know, being in a modern vehicle. And you see like through the windshield, like the wipers can barely keep up with the rain. The headlights are just kind of piercing, but as I'm sure we all have, if you've driven through a snowstorm or a rainstorm, super heavy rainstorm, where your headlights just reflect back at you, there's a lot of that happening. And the storm is just like howling, and you see the faint glow of the dashboard as he's driving, and Kayla looks over at him. She looks over at all of you. She's like, there's water in the back, there's some snacks if you need it. And they come around another corner, they go right, they go left, they go right again, just zigzagging in between these hangars. And they finally arrive to one where there isn't, like, the main hangar door is not open, it's closed, but there's like a 10 by 14 garage door that it just like rips into. And you see a bunch of the ATCO trailers, you see your double-decker bus, you see just people kind of running around, cooking, like running food back and forth, just kind of getting everybody, making sure everyone's safe. There's some first aid going on, nothing major, but like people have fallen over, people got hit by debris, so there's some of that going on. And you see like the camera shaking a little bit, and back to the interior of the Suburban, as you open the doors inside this hangar with your bus in front of you.
Sweet. Let's go
Getting
inside.
Out of the, as we're exiting, I'd like to look back at those clouds that I saw before and see if I can still see what I previously was, you know,
Sure.
disturbed by.
Sure.
Is that another alertness?
Roll luck instead.
Right, visibility and all.
Success. Yeah. Benny, your friends or your roommates are getting out of the Suburban. Everyone's dry, like you're inside a hangar, so it's safe, right? But you look out that garage door, and there's just like sort of a corridor of light and sky that you can see because of all of these hangar buildings on the edge of the base. Not too far from like where the residences are. And you do see like just the oddest sort of swirling in the cloud. And for just like half a second, like, again, your adrenaline is super high. It's been a long day. You've been doing training exercise. Like, there's been a lot going on. Probably haven't eaten enough. Maybe some beef jerky on the way. I don't know. Snapped into a Slim Jim. And you can see, like, it looks like one of the clouds gets long like a hand and then turns into like a finger, like beckoning. But as soon as that starts, it just like goes back down. Make a sanity roll on that realization.
This is why you don't go poking around. You don't have to roll sanity rolls otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm
Where
feeling my
is
inner
the-
Rob Perkovich coming out right now, like wanting to resist.
Like, no, don't do it. Why would anybody do that?
Yeah.
All right, success. So you don't take any sanity damage as you witness this. You
So
just
his-
kind of shake your head a little bit of like, fuck. I've seen weird shit in clouds. I've seen weird shit in the stars. Like, just
Blood
another
runs a little bit
dance.
cold, but he shakes
Yep.
it off.
As we
Your memory has just been sold.
enter the bus, can we talk about maybe what the results were of the image search when I searched the image from that woman's backpack?
Yep. Tell me what you remember about that backpack.
Was it like a triangle in one corner? It was a symbol in one corner of it.
There was a symbol in one corner. So you, as you're in the suburban, because this kind of started with you and Alex like before you even got in there, so you probably like, you know, the cell coverage sucks because of the storm and like infrastructure going out, but like you get enough of a signal. And I would say Alex with an 80 computer skill probably has a satellite modem. And like it's slow as shit, but like you can make a connection and like you're looking at it, and it leads to like 4chan posts. It leads to like old ICQ message board posts that are on like the archived web. It leads to conspiracy theory websites. None of them are credible at all. For like, it's literally what I just described. It's like finding random shit online, but continually you see in these threads this same image coming up again and again as like a and on the 4chan side, it's just like creepypasta. On the old ICQ boards, it's like looks like cult recruitment, and it looks like their logo or whatever. On more modern type of platforms like Reddit or whatever, you see a lot of conspiracy, you know, r/conspiracy, like r/the Donald, r/QAnon, like all kinds of weird fucking links. But you know, when people start going down rabbit holes about like Bohemian Grove and like, I don't know, some other bullshit in popular culture, every once in a while somebody will post this image, and that's the flood of information that you get as you and Alex work on that.
Yeah, I think I'd essentially just be like, I mean, I'm getting a lot of hits on a lot of different blowhard sites. Was someone in some official capacity wearing this?
Someone in one of my classes had this symbol like embroidered or something, or maybe it was like a patch on their backpack.
Totally.
And so they were weird. So maybe they're just into all this conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah, I guess you can find skilled people in any walk of life, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Shit.
I mean, they were going on about, if I remember right, like there's going to be some sort of retribution or reaction from all the drilling and the way we've been abusing Mother Earth and stuff around here. I don't know. This kind of sounds like maybe the sort of thing that someone who talks a lot about that would be into.
I think it's time that I called for a roll. I've got a 30 in occult, and I want to put that to use.
Okay, love it.
God damn it. Okay, so yes.
You are back that up with a computer science, just to see like how much data you can garner. Okay, so you're like parsing through this information as you're passing it off to Megan, and she's telling you stories about, you know, the patch that she saw before, and then like this weird encounter that she had that day during training. And you're not buying any of the occulty creepypasta aspects of this, but it does seem like there is some sort of like sequence to this logo, like fractals, the number sequences, like you could generate, if you had enough time with enough code, you're like, yeah, I could build one of these. Sure. But it's repetitive.
Okay, cool.
So what about
the only... Sorry, go for
no
it.
no you go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess the only thing I guess we should kind of be aware about, because I don't know if there's much legs with any of these sites or any of these big minds discussing these big ideas, but you know, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't some sort of pattern to it all. I mean, like, I don't know if I'm gonna try to pull on this thread, but like, you know, there might be something to this symbol, but I don't know if these people are really hitting on exactly what it is on 4chan. You know what I mean?
I just wonder if there's more than one of them here. Is it just this lady? Or
I guess we'll have to keep an eye out. And that like that notion actually kind of freaks Alex out a little bit. And you like, his eyes, like without moving his head, he kind of darts around to everyone, even just us, like everyone that's around, and see if anyone else has this symbol anywhere on them. Because like, if he's recognizing a pattern within just the design of the logo, even like those things are never just coincidental for him. So he'll continue to search for the continuation of the pattern anywhere.
Okay. And while you're kind of looking around, Alex, Megan, roll a hum int. See if maybe you notice, like, again, maybe you didn't pay attention to it. It was just like in the back of your memory from the day. But yeah, you remember from the bar last night that some of the locals had like very small patches amongst many other patches, Canadian flags, Synovus Energy, Precision Drilling, like all the different companies they work for, Safety Level 1, all that kind of stuff. Certified with Scott packs, whatever people wear.
We'll say that she's had
but
some
you
memory
have seen them.
training, and as she's sitting there looking at it, she's kind of closing her eyes and mentally reviewing all the, like a slideshow of the people that have been going by them and that they've interacted with. And, every now and then, like mentally, she kind of zeroes in on one of those symbols or something that might be, and she's like, shit, maybe that's why we're here. I think I've seen more people with those symbols at the bar here and there. And and she's like, hey, kind of calls everybody. I think I might have something.
I feel like Shaw's like checking his phone, see if he can get a text out to his wife.
I kind of imagine we're all standing like kind of slightly wet inside the building, but outside our bus. That was happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inside the building, outside the bus. You're a little wet from being in the rain, but not like soaked. Not.
Damn, this storm is taking out the reception. Ugh, God. I'm sorry. What was that?
Can we all go in the bus for a minute? I think I might have something.
Oh, sure thing.
We all go in and I'm like, Alex, can you pull it up? We all kind of circle around the little mini table in there.
I spin the laptop around.
And I point to it, and I'm like, a lady who was a little bit off her rocker in my class yesterday had this symbol on here. She was going on and on about, like the retribution and how nature, what had been going on to nature. Things were gonna, I don't remember her exact words, but kind of the same thing we've been hearing from other people. What's the native guy's was it Tony?
Oh, Indian Tony?
Yeah.
Indian Tony?
Indian Tony was saying a few things like that. And while we were in the bar, I think I saw some other people with this symbol. And Alex, can you kind of give them an example of the sort of things that pull up when you do an image search for it?
Also, Pizza Indian Tony is a in real life friend of mine, and he calls himself that.
Yeah.
So, not just me. Casual racist. Just wanted to clarify that.
No, his first name is Indian. His last name's Tony.
Tony.
He would tell you that.
He was born in Tampa, Florida, but it's Indian
Tony. His cousin Tony Pepperoni.
So Alex quickly just like takes the laptop back and then just quickly throws a bunch of the different examples into floating windows on the screen, so they're all on the screen at the same time, and like flips it back. Just goes, here's like the most consistent or steady or clear examples that we found really quick. Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Loving our bus situation.
Oh yeah.
I would live in that.
Yeah, bus is sweet.
I like it as a deck.
Good bus.
Just picture it's in a hangar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So you're telling us that this woman had this symbol?
Yeah, and once I started really thinking about it, I think I've seen it. I think I've seen other people wearing things as like patches, maybe tattoos.
and that I'm sorry, I'm just having a hard time understanding. This is
I think they're a bunch of conspiracy theory nuts.
Yeah.
It's like
This is something like this symbol's kind of been on circulating the internet at least since the late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know, it's on all those kind of sites, you know, but like it's odd to see it kind of like an official military operation. It's not just like a online conspiracy. Clearly there's some sort of physical weight to it.
Could be a coincidence, but the way I see it, either they're involved in something or they're aware of something.
Yeah.
well,
And-
well I'm not to take the wind out of your sails. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe they're like you say, it's a conspiracy. I mean, what about? Like, is this? How do we know it's not just like a
Judging
like a club
from
or something?
what she was talking about, it has to do with the drilling and environmental issues. And she kind of looks over at, our EPA guy and
James.
James. And I don't know. I just keep having this nagging worry that maybe we got some eco-terrorists or something.
Wouldn't be the first run-in with those.
Anyway, I mean, it's not enough. It's not actionable. But keep your eyes open. And maybe we need to talk to... Did Tony have this symbol anywhere on him? Was he one of the people that I remember it being?
Yeah, he did. It was actually a tattoo.
Tony had this
Sup-
tattoo.
Super small, like he had like a sleeve.
Mhm.
It was like super small, just barely noticeable. But you know, he had a whatever
If
t-shirt on, and you thought,
if we get a chance to talk to him, I think we should.
Yeah, no, certainly. I just, no, he's just sort of like, it's like thinking this over.
how did
Oh, sorry, you're looking at me. Oh, sorry, I was thinking.
how do the rest of the agents react? Do you lean into this? Do you dismiss it?
So there's always a little bit of truth out there, right? You know, and in these stories and such, you know. So I think James is a little bit intrigued by it. I don't think he's wholeheartedly agreeing with it or anything, but I think he's, you know, kind of neutral on the whole situation. Could be something to it.
Okay.
I mean, this is why I kind of hinted a little bit last session about looking at all the constellations of stars that he'd only read about or, never really been able to see. But he knows all the stories and history. Like, as soon as he, like, picks up on something, he, like, reads all the very specific history for that kind of thing. So for Alex, this is just like a new thing now. And this is why, like, his occult score is what it is, because, you know, a lot of odd things, even constellations, will end in some threads with some sort of cult or, off base thing. He just, like, has all this really weird pocket, like, back of the pocket information about occult happenings and beliefs. So for him,
Sure.
this is just another thing that's going to live in his mind until he, like, has time to, like, research it more and add it to his, like, codex in his mind.
Give me a Alex, with that insight. Give me a second. Give me a
quick second.
Give me a history.
You got it. Oh, I need to come back into Foundry.
So part of your work, Alex, for the CIA has been linked to sort of like an anomalous number that, like, they've asked you to go and seek out. You don't know if it's coordinates, radio station,
Uh-huh.
an IP address. You don't really know what it is. But as you're thinking about, like, oh, I could program this logo. It wouldn't be that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the repeating numbers are tied to the research that you've been doing for the CIA. Again, you've not been, like, read into what it is. It's just been like, hey, Go find this, report back, and we'll give you the next assignment.
Okay. I think as that clicks from, he just kind of like, regardless of what anyone else is saying, he just goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Holy shit, hold on. Everyone just shut up. And then you guys can keep talking, but he takes his computer back and just like goes. He's now
He's just,
doing shit.
yeah,
But, yeah.
he's the cat gif on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Oh,
Yeah, get it.
hold on.
Here we go.
I got one for you. I'm sorry. Dude.
Amazing. Hey, he's back.
I'm sorry. I woke you up. I woke you up from your nap.
She's sweet though.
Why?
She doesn't care. She's like, I want to be part of it. I want to play games.
Yeah, this is a bit of his social awkwardness though, where he just kind of goes into his own little thing here.
Yep.
So he's doing his thing.
Cool. All right. I will need those of you that were sort of leaning into it. So certainly Alex and Megan, but the rest of you as well. Roll sanity as you go down the rabbit hole of this.
Cause, yeah, I was gonna
That's a
say, cause,
really
oh
bad
god, oh no. Cause Shaw's thought is more along the lines of like he's kind of like a straight-laced kind of guy. He doesn't think like, oh, that, he doesn't jump to thinking about conspiracies. But like, I'm sure he does know a couple of people. Like he's worked with people who had like matching tattoos, and it turns out they were in like a gang or like a police gang or something like that. And it's
Yeah,
like
like
causing
an
some
fire of some sort.
He's having some hesitation where it's like, he doesn't want to completely rule it out that something may be going on. He can't completely rule it out.
Okay.
All right, come on, give me sanity. For God's sake, 71 over 69.
Man, your target was so nice. All right, so my failures are James, Jackson, and Alex. All of you are going to take 1 point of sanity damage as you're kind of like walking down the rabbit hole of this. You're trying to question your own beliefs, like you mentioned about the prison gangs, or probably special forces. Probably marshals have some of those too. Like
I'm sure there's some.
It's not
kind of,
uncommon that like
marshal gang.
people who have served as like U.S. Marine Corps, the 177 and so forth. Yeah, so or 181st Airborne, whatever. Yeah, so that makes sense, but it's so unnatural to your worldview that there's something odd about it, and obviously with Alex diving down the internet rabbit hole and his own work, he's going to question a few things as that goes down. But James, who's been like relatively quiet through this and gave his 2 cents, your mind harkens back to your evening last night at the pub, seeing this symbol, and also on some of the protesters, as well as the workers that you were in between today during that negotiation. Some of them had very, very small pins, like thumbnail size, like lapel pins, with that symbol on them. And you probably just assumed it was, some indigenous people against exploitation, or, whatever, some sort of like, group like that. Maybe you didn't give it a whole lot of thought. Maybe you did. But now you're really questioning it as Alex and Megan are going down the rabbit hole. Megan is completely fine with this.
Conspiracies are
line of
my
research, as is
bread and butter.
Benny. Yeah.
So
You're leaning into it. You're like, no, this is legit. Let's go. And Benny is, well, tell us, what is Benny doing?
Pretty familiar with a lot of this stuff as well. A lot of the same things have been happening to him, or occurring to him as well. A lot of matching tattoos along those lines, and from his time in the service that he's seen, especially in the Middle East. But it's sending a few warning signals out.
Sure.
Something to keep an eye on, something to be wary of.
And it looks, Benny, like as you were deployed, in the Middle East. This is amazing, Kyle. As you were deployed in the Middle East, you definitely saw like brands on people's skin. It didn't look like this, but it followed the same sort of symmetry, basic shapes. There was enough similarity to like trigger that memory.
Well, time for Hot Pockets. And she goes and looks in the mini fridge for something.
So
And,
nasty.
the lady, I don't have my notes from last week in front of me. The lady who is the sweetest woman ever, running this little bus Airbnb, Johnski. She's like, yes, I made you pastries, and she's got like cheese danishes and apple danishes. There's a fucking turkey on the countertop. There's mashed potatoes. Like, there's like anything you could want. Fully stocked bar.
Nice.
She's like, I know we can't go out tonight, but make yourselves at home again. The storm will pass. We've seen them since I was a young girl. They're not overreacting at the base. I'm glad we're inside, but all of you are safe here.
How many times do you get a storm of the century out here?
Oh, lately about every 5 years. Flood of the century, storm of the century, earthquake of the century, hailstorm of the century, snowstorm of the century, windstorm of the century. Yeah, about every 5 years.
Have you seen, Tony? Indian Tony? And she's like uncomfortable saying it.
Indian Tony. And once again, only because this is a real life person, and I've already checked with him because of where we went with roleplay last week, and he's like, "Fucking lean into it." so she's like, "Oh, Indian Tony, I love him. Oh, when my boy and his dad were boys, they were best friends, and I just can't tell you enough of how sweet that kid is, how earnest he is, and how genuine he is. I trust you saw him last night when you went out to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
He's usually there. Probably not tonight, but he's usually there.
At the bar? Yeah, but probably not tonight. Yeah, but you don't think he's around? And she kind of looks around the hangar.
Oh no, he's
Back home.
and she checks the windows to make sure that they're closed. He's not allowed on the base anymore.
What?
I was contracted here to put up, kind colleagues like yourselves, not Americans, but we love Americans here too. But some Canadians and Brits flew in. There's one guy from New Zealand. There was a lady from Australia. Anyway, poor Indian Tony. He texted me, and he said, "Hey, I need a place to sleep tonight." And I said, "Of course. Like anytime. Don't drive. Like you're good. You can always stay with Auntie Foundry, as they call me." And well, he stumbled in here, but some idiot left a firearms locker open, and our friend decided to take a rifle and shoot into the sky. He meant no harm. He shot towards like the weapons range. It wasn't going to hit anything, but you can imagine an unlawful discharge on a military base is not super kosher around here. So he lives in Cold Lake. He works for sometimes he contracts for Synovus as an operator, making his rounds. Other times he'll help out with precision, but he's a great kid. He really means you no harm. He wouldn't hurt a fly.
Oh, I had no concerns. I really liked him. As a matter of fact, I think she checks her phone. Oh yeah, I did get his number.
Can't wait to tell Tony he's banned from Cold Lake. But yes, you did. You 100% got his number.
Yeah, and it was given to me to run, actually. That and one other one. My notes got erased from last week, so
I don't think
I
you
don't know.
actually ran them yet, so.
I did not run them. But I knew it was Tony and one other guy's name.
Yeah.
Or numbers. that we
Dylan.
got.
Dylan Mikuleski.
Right. So right now, Alex is not thinking about that, but if you remind him, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can run
She'll
those for sure.
mention it to him.
Mhm.
See if anything comes up that kind of connects the two. An email address of his that connects to these symbols at all, maybe, or any of these sites.
Oh, okay. Or like old screen names.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, I love that. That's computer skill for sure.
Here it goes.
Oh, critical
Oh.
motherfucking success.
Get out of here. I'm in the zone.
All
What
right.
about me, Mr. Rutherford? I'm in the zone.
You find you find a couple of those things that I didn't write, so just give me a moment. A couple of online forums, and
His
actually not
OnlyFans
that-
site.
it's not that hard to figure out who's who here. Like, their passwords are very easy to break. They clearly have not listened to their friend Elias about cybersecurity, and you easily break into Dylan's account first, who works for Precision Drilling, and it's his last name, capital at the front, 1 exclamation point, Precision, and the year he was hired that you got off LinkedIn.
Wow.
So, like, after probably 5 minutes, you're like, yep, okay, all right, I'm in. You try to cross-reference that photo, and it's very obscure, but you get into Dylan's Google account, and you go through the photos, you're running the reverse image, you're running the little bit of code that you feel you could generate to make this image, just trying to, like, get a ping. There's nothing in his email, text messages, WhatsApp, any of that stuff. You do finally land on Panama 2019 album. And there's like a picture of Dylan and very clearly his mom, because it says "Love you, Mom" at the bottom. He edited it. And they're standing in front of a pyramid, but on the capstone of the pyramid, on the top stone of the pyramid, you see the same symbol. Super subtle. You don't see him like ordering pins with it or anything like that, but it is there.
Fuck. Okay. Megan, check this shit out. And he be like, no, I'm not talking about his weird shorts he's wearing. I know he's on vacation. Just ignore that.
Oh
I'm
my
talking
god,
about
those sandals.
100% they were jorts. Yep.
With socks?
Look
Are you kidding?
behind.
Oh, okay.
No. I know.
Shorts
He's
with
wearing
socks.
Crocs too. Did you hike there in Crocs? Come on,
Oh,
man.
this is
get it.
great.
You
You guys are giving me
but-
so much content
but-
for this group chat.
Look at the signal on the top of the pyramid.
She's kind of squints at the screen. Oh, you are shitting me.
No, I'm not. Check that shit
Oh, are we saying
out.
the Aztecs were part of this, or the Incas?
Hang on there. We're all here,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
We're talking.
You're getting your plates of turkey and shit, and
That
I don't
was
know.
We're talking ancient Incans
Well,
and
maybe
Mayans and that
that's-
stuff.
just maybe that's why he's there. Maybe he like had an interest in that symbol, and that was connected.
Well,
It does make sense that, like, Dylan, who his mom clearly lives in Panama and close with the indigenous community up here in northern Canada, would try to seek that out when he was on vacation. Like, try to get in touch with, like, okay, who's
I mean, I'm
Indian
not
Tony in Panama?
saying it means anything. I'm just saying maybe to him it meant something.
well, all I'm thinking is the last group of people, the last group of people I knew who got tattoos, symbols that were related to ancient mythologies and the like. They were getting Nordic runes because they were Nazis. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just saying. Usually, if this is the same thing we're talking about, like, he's starting to kind of believe it a little bit more. It's like, I mean, I don't know about conspiracy, but perhaps it's worth being careful. This may be trouble.
Yeah. Well, he seemed like a nice guy. Maybe if we, approach him in a non-threatening way, he'd be willing to talk to us.
Yeah, and he looks out towards the storm.
Not right now.
Not right now. No, I agree.
I doubt they'd even let us off the base.
If they're smart, they wouldn't. But
yeah,
I don't know,
it's very
got
clear
a
that
bad feeling.
you're staying here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a bad feeling about this. Oh, I said the Star Wars thing,
Yep,
didn't I?
you said the Star Wars thing.
I haven't seen those since I was a kid. My wife tells me that that it's funny that I forget.
I had a boyfriend
He's
who
got no time.
made
He's
me
always on
listen
the
to
road.
it every night before bed. It was
Listen
horrible
to Star
torture.
Wars?
Yeah, it's like what he went to bed to. Like, just played them on VHS on a loop.
He played them on
That's gotta be
VHS
Uh-huh.
on a loop.
Yes.
Fall asleep.
Yes. I've probably
I
seen
can
them
rewind.
each 100 times.
And
He's not my
I don't
boyfriend
remember-
anymore.
okay, I
As
was
a matter
about
of fact,
to say
he just
I-
about
I'm-
ruined me for men. So
I'm sorry to hear that, and I'll pray for you. Tell you what, I'll what do they call it? I'll use the force for you. That's what they say in those movies, right?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thoughts and force.
Thoughts and force. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. My goat is so washed.
I'm gonna, as Kyle, I need to prompt Pizza. I need to know what the hell Benny's thinking while he's listening to all this shit.
He's just sitting there wondering if how the symbol gets from Panama to Alberta.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way Megan sees it, like, maybe it's not related at all, but he thinks it's related. Like, he's looking for this symbol anywhere, It's a triangle-ish symbol, so something like it's gonna pop up somewhere.
Just like the Nazis took over the Hindu symbol.
Yeah,
of
although
peace.
isn't it like
Mhm.
It's true.
mirror
It's true.
imaged? Like one.
Yes.
It's a little different. Yeah, it's
It's still
mirrored.
awful.
Yes,
like Noah's
it's
runes.
something that means love and
They
peace.
ruined it for everyone.
I'll never forget when I was researching Nordic runes and I found like a warning online. It was like, hey, by the way, like it was someone who was selling like Ren Fair stuff with like runes on it and said like, I know which ones you're asking for. I'm not doing it. I don't.
I am not selling you this.
I go fuck yourself, Nazis. And I'm like, what do you mean Nazis? And anyways,
Like early
ruined that shit
issues
for
of
me.
You will
Rudyard
not see this
Kipling's
rune.
stuff has that symbol in
thank you,
it
Rudyard Kipling.
because he, liked Hindu stuff.
Yeah.
It was super popular in the early 20th century,
Yeah.
like as like just branding. Like a ton of companies used it, and like American companies, like all over the world. Anyway, symbolism is clearly playing a role here, with some triangles. And Benny, like I said, you saw something similar but not the same in your travels. Do you run the other number?
Yeah. This is
All
Tony's
right.
now, right?
Yep. Another computer check.
What other number is this?
This is Tony's phone number.
You got two phone numbers.
Oh yeah. Okay, I thought we were talking about
was
like
just
coded
for
phone
Dylan.
numbers.
Oh,
What?
how on
Vegas,
earth?
right now. I'll be. See ya, guys. I gotta go. Hey,
That's insane.
What the fuck?
How are you loading your
Oh,
computer dice?
Hey.
Well done.
wow.
All right. So not unlike Dylan, you use the same logic, and you're like, oh, these idiots' passwords are identical.
Yeah.
Last name, capitals, where you work, what year you were hired. Like, okay. fine. You're like, I thought it would be harder after your 10th attempt. Like,
Shit, fucking
slam a
amateur.
monster. You're like, all right, I guess I got to keep myself awake for this.
He just mutters under his breath, "Idiots." He just
Idiots.
breaks right in.
Idiots. That's Jim Beavers.
You get into Indian Tony's Gmail and start searching around. And he works for Synovus Energy.
Mm-hmm.
He was an operator at one point in this area. Then he contracted to Precision Drilling. And now he commutes back and forth to the Lloydminster refinery. He does like 10 days on, 10 days off. Lloydminster is about 2 hours from here by driving. You flew over it. You flew over it when you got to Cold Lake. You also like start digging around in his Amazon history, and you see that he tried to place an order for 100 pins with that symbol on it, and it wasn't fulfilled. And he wrote many angry emails about it, and Karen-esque reviews. And you go into the Gmail again, look at Etsy. He found a vendor that would do it for him in Etsy, and shipped out 100 of those pins with that symbol on it.
All right.
Paid for it with his own money.
What did he
Got the
call it
origin.
when he was ordering it? What did he? How did he
call.
phrase it?
That is a great question. He phrased it as custom pin order. Splinter Group.
Splinter.
Splinter?
Splinter Group.
Oh, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sensei.
Like that was the. He didn't really call it that like to the vendor, but that was the name of like the image file. Splinter underscore group dot JPEG or whatever.
Fuck.
So,
All right, looks like we have the spreader of the good word here. Looks like Tony was the one passing those out. I mean, it stands to reason. I mean, check this out. And he flips the computer around because he likes to do that. As if he's the big man on campus. Guys, when the guns start getting pulled out, this is where I get to shine.
So,
But yeah, he's just like, check it out, guys. And he's like showing the Etsy conversation.
Well, if he was
So Benny
ordering
leans into,
this, and was it ordered recently?
Good question. About a year and a half
Year and
ago.
a half ago. Okay. So maybe not
Benny, what's up?
specifically for this event, but he was definitely planning on handing these out to people.
Yep.
Benny leans in with his 40 computer science and whispers to Alex, check the metadata on the image file.
Oh,
Yeah, so Alex inspects
If you get
it.
another critical success with 44,
If you get a four, it's just it's over. It's fucking over.
Cthulhu comes.
Right.
Alex wins Delta Green.
What's funny is like it's like almost like a luck roll because like inspecting the metadata, I shouldn't be able to fail that, but it's a matter of like, was he fine?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, it's
Alright,
corrupted.
Yeah, reading the metadata. No, you do get like some information out of it. Looks like about 6 months before the order was placed, and you find a few different iterations of it. You find similar images with some photoshopping and like, I mean, it's 2024, so like AI generated,
Mock-ups.
outputs,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, but it doesn't really lead anywhere as far as a thread to pull on.
Yeah, I'm looking, man. I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything too crazy though. Yeah, just give me a second here.
I need to get some more water. So
Yeah.
Let's see. Can we take a
5 minute.
quick
Let's
break?
let's go to 8:15. Let's take a 4-minute break.
Okay, sounds good.
Good call.
Snack.
It's an hour and 4 minutes if you're on Central Time.
Hour and 40 minutes.
Do we want to keep an eye out tonight, just to make sure nothing's everything's on the up and up? No, nothing's. I don't know. I just feel like
Well, you're in contact with like the security team? Like you'd probably hear if something went down.
Yeah, I mean, I was the security team for the event. I was involved in that, but I mean, the channel's still open. Hopefully, we'll see. Actually, that's a good idea. You know, can I see if I have my if I check through my walkie-talkie, see how like check in with the other teams, see how everyone's doing. Like,
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You still have your radio, sure.
teams, quick check-in, just ensuring everyone got to shelter safely. Over.
Alpha safe 10-4. Beta safe 10-4. Charlie, we've got a couple injured here, but we'll be fine. What's that? 10-4.
Heard what's that? Charlie, you need medic team. I can try and organize something. Over.
Negative. We've got enough trained personnel here. We'll be fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
10-4.
teaching us.
Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. 10-4.
No, 10-4. Yeah, just update us if anything changes or if you need anything. Of course, let us know. Over.
Affirmative. 10-4.
All right.
Apparently, I need notes about radio.
No, I just interrupted.
No.
Okay. So it looks like my team's good. A couple injured, but nothing too bad. Hopefully they would have seen something if anything was trying to. I mean, hopefully they're not involved. But I wasn't. I'll be honest. I wasn't looking at pins and patches too closely. But now I certainly will. That's good. I think.
Well, between the rain and the turkey, I'm probably ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same.
Is the phone still out? Try to call home if they're not.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I made that up. I didn't know if that was true or not.
Yeah, you have a satellite link because of Alex.
Oh, awesome.
It is slow, but it does get through. Like because cell towers are down, even within the base, communications are basically down except for radio. Like they're trying to recover as this thing is whipping out. Like several hours have gone by at this point, as this storm is whipping outside, and you can hear like the hail is getting harder and harder on the roof. When you go out from the bus, maybe just to catch a breath or say hello to your neighbor or whatever, like it's loud. Like you have to turn your YouTube up or whatever on your phone to hear above it. But yeah, as you sort of come into the next phase, you're looking around a little bit, and with that noise happening, with that cacophony, there's a few agents who have not gone to sleep yet, and Alex and Megan come to mind along with Benny. Do you head to bed?
Sleep.
Do you stay up? Are you insomniacs because of the noise?
Yeah, I think Benny would not be going to sleep. Not with what he saw out there, even though he shrugged it off, it's still going to be on his mind.
Sure.
He's gonna do some perimeter checks and just kind of walk around, kind of make sure there's nobody that needs any additional first aid. He's not ready to go to bed yet.
Okay.
I think Megan lays down on the little sofa and just puts a pillow over her head and just kind of dozes while everybody's wandering around.
Sure. I love that, especially with the turkey and mashed potato dinner that and pierogies apparently too. All the potatoes that you were fed. Awesome. How about Alex?
Alex is, he's certainly got like some habits he needs to do. What playing the DS like before he goes to sleep will eventually happen. But I think what happens is he's still just kind of on the computer. I don't know exactly for how long, but for a while he's like running scripts to just like trying to like find new search queries that bring new information back. Nothing's really happening. He kind of starts to feel like a lot of exhaustion and takes a deep breath, and then he opens just like a word processor, and for the first time he actually types out the code that he deleted from the base's systems, and he's just going to let his eyes kind of wash over the faulty dead code, and I don't know, is it like, because his whole thing is like trying to like the coffee cup, looking at the letters, realizing it's a code, spelling something out, like letters rearranging by themselves. This is the kind of thing where right now he feels up against the wall and he's throwing this code into the mix to see if it's like a key to further understanding of the situation.
Amazing. I love that. So like everyone has gone to bed. Our camera pans around to each of you texting goodnight, going outside for a breath, calling your wife, which we'll get back to, going into a comatose state of sleep with this huge dinner. Everyone's sort of like just chilling the fuck out, doing their things. Alex still, the glow of the light, now our camera like is behind the monitor and he's lit up from the glow of the screen, just typing away, just looking and looking and looking, and trying to run that code. And you start to find that same repeating pattern, but it is starting to like unwind a little bit. Like you take some of the hex, convert it to binary, convert it to text. You're like trying to run all these different like scenarios, and that simple piece of code that you found turns into this, which I just put into Foundry. And you do also recognize that the code that you wrote in your head when you saw the symbol, that you could just like hex it out, boop, 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 triangle, blah, blah, blah. There are aspects of that sequence in this code.
Right. Fuck. Okay. Dude, can I black box this? Can I run this?
I don't know what black box means, but yes.
I mean, neither do I.
It's a word.
Oh, you want to execute the code?
I do. I want to run this shit.
Okay,
in an isolated environment.
Right,
yeah.
right. So
Sure.
it can't get out.
Sandbox.
Yeah, you spin up a virtual machine on your computer. You got like one of those crazy gamer/engineer computers with like an actual GPU in it and like actual fucking shit.
Overpriced Alienware garbage.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're like no, you made it yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
And you 3D printed the case. It's like
Oh yeah, sick.
it's like a $10,000 laptop. And
And covered in shitty band stickers.
all
Hell yeah.
the bands. Amazing. So yeah, you start running it in your black box environment, isolated, and it starts repeating the same symbol over and over again as an output. It says code not compiled, so you make a couple tweaks, you execute it again, it gives you the symbol. Immediate error, code not compiled, make a few more tweaks, get the symbol again. It keeps coming out again and again and again by virtue of this math.
While
Alex.
he's doing that,
Yeah, go for it.
sorry, Kyle.
No,
While
please.
he's doing
Make
that, alertness for Benny to see if he notices any shift in Alex's behavior while this is going on.
Sure. You guys are like kind of bunkmates. Your beds are near each other in this converted bus. Go ahead and make that roll.
I was legitimately saying that fuck, like out loud. Like you would have, if you were in earshot, you could hear Alex reacting to that too. Yeah.
So it
Maybe.
catches Benny's eye.
And he's like, hey man, I know everyone's kind of, my brain's going fucking haywire, man. Check this out. So I pulled this code. It was in the security systems. It it was in the base, man. I removed it. It was in the way. It was dead. But after everything today, I just okay. Hold on, man. Okay, after everything today, and thinking about this symbol and just everything, and we couldn't make it connect. And I was like, well, what about this thing that wasn't connecting to anything else? And then it's just like kind of run it together in a little environment here. And check this out, man. And he like rotates the computer towards you to like see, like you can see his history of like everything he's running, and the outcome's the same like every time, just despite the tweaks. What do you make of this?
Benny, so you spin the computer around, and he looks at it, and he kind of looks at you, back down, and he just kind of reaches up and shuts the lid. And he says, "Son, you're no good to us if you go crazy.
Yeah.
Call it a day."
And
Come at
Benny,
it fresh.
for sure, as Alex showed you that, and like the code spitting out these images, they were all a little different, like one to the other, because of those modifications.
Mhm.
But one of them was incredibly similar to the one that you saw while you were deployed overseas.
So he'll make a mental note of that.
Roll sanity.
Shoot.
Get fucked.
All
Oh
right.
boy. Yeah, so you're like trying to play it cool and get me to go to sleep, but you quickly just get your world rocked.
2 sand
Yeah.
damage as
So
you make this realization.
So it registers, it lands, but he tries his best not to let it show. But you probably there are some things you can't hide, right? You can't hide a instinctive gut reaction to something like that.
For sure.
So
Hand
I
shaking
think
maybe a
you
little.
probably- or his eyes just kind of widen, and his like mouth just kind of drops, and yeah.
Yeah, so the computer's closed, and Alex just goes, yeah, man, okay, yeah, it's late anyways, and he's like, once again, Alex is gonna sleep in his clothes like last night.
Nice.
But he'll just pull out his DS out of the front pocket of his Jansport, and be like, I'm just gonna try to beat Ganondorf, go to sleep. And he'll like kind of roll over, and yeah.
Do we all have our own sort of laptops, or
Yeah,
is it just
You basically have what you think your character would have. So like if they travel with a laptop, yes, you have one. If they travel with a cell phone, yes, you have one. You don't have to really ask me about mundane shit. If you're like, do I have a fucking grenade launcher? It's like, well.
Gotcha. Yeah. So as Alex retires to his DS and is playing, and Benny has just his cell phone, and he sort of pulls that out and fires off a quick email, puts it away.
Hey, I love that you didn't tell us what that email had in it as you casually took a drink of scotch. I picture Benny doing the same thing. Like he doesn't drink a lot, but like when he had a sponsor.
Yeah,
So maybe
he
he
doesn't
has
drink it all.
some tea or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, sure. Something, relaxing at the end of a day.
Didn't James not drink too? Wasn't that a thing? Was there another character that wasn't drinking? I can't remember. Guess not.
Who in this one?
Yeah.
I-
Doesn't matter. Oh no,
I-
maybe I think it's fucking Sid's character. I'm blending stories.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. I had to question like my own notes. I was like, I didn't write that down either. Awesome. So everyone goes to bed. You relax into the evening. Our camera just sort of like goes black for a minute, and it opens up onto the following morning, and it's like a drone shot over Cold Lake CFB. There is debris, pieces of hangars fucking ripped off, jets that clearly had been on fire and are now, extinguished. So the white lines around them, and they're all fucked up. The sky is still heavy with dark clouds, and lightning is arcing. you can smell as the camera goes in like wet earth, and there's puddles all over the runways, and there's like a soft drip just hitting the roof of the hangar that you were in the double-decker bus. And there are soldiers running around fucking everywhere. As you make your coffee, as you get your day together, you can tell me what that looks like if you choose to. There are soldiers running around, organizing people. You go here, you here, you four over here. Like just trying to get people organized, just like they did in the training exercises, but it's a lot more chaotic because there's an actual emergency at hand. And you see Colonel McLeod, who originally welcomed you here. He rolls up on like a I'm gonna roll luck.
Sick motorcycle.
I love those dice.
Oh,
Yeah.
critical crit. He
Damn.
rolls up on a fucking Vespa.
Damn.
But it sounds like super badass. It's like bing, bing, bing. This fucking Vespa, and he's like skids it. Now I'm just fucking copying Ross, but anyway, he skids it and hops off, and you see him. But like, while that's happening, as our camera has gone to that, like, what does everyone's morning look like? Do you run right out and get into it? Do you talk to each other? What do you do?
Shaw is gonna call his wife because he
Sure.
feels bad about everything sort of getting busy, but he sort of explains that everything's going well. The training exercises are going really well. He's been learning a lot, meeting friends. He's
What kind of friends, Jackson? You've been gone for
Like-
so long.
I've only been gone a few days.
You were gone before that. You know that.
I know.
It's just me and the kids here.
I know, and I'm
Can't
keeping
do this
track.
forever.
I know, and I'm not planning
Promise
on doing
me.
it. I will. I'm just keeping you updated. I'm gonna be home as soon as I can.
You told
as soon
me
as
when the house was paid for, and it's been paid for 6 months, that you would stop doing this.
I
You know I love
but
you, but
and
there's
you-
only so much a woman can take.
I know that. I'm just.
She has needs.
I'm
I have
doing my.
needs, Jackson.
And I'm
God
doing
damn it.
I'm doing my best to provide for us, not just for
Are
me.
you
This is
providing
just-
for us, or are you just off on one of your adventures?
It's not an adventure.
You always
honey.
watch
It's-
that stupid Terminator movie to fall asleep too.
I fell asleep once, and you perhaps I did.
I've counted, Jackson. I've watched that
I-
movie 1,800 times.
No, it is not 1,800. It is not a single one over 1,193. I've been
Megan
counting
just
too.
happens to walk by and kind of pat him on the back and be like, in a sultry early morning voice, "Morning, Jackson."
No. That's not. He's like
Who is that? What the fuck did I just hear?
that is my commanding officer. He's like looking
I
over.
bet she is.
She is. She is. We are. Everything's gotten. Everything's gotten kind of hectic over here. I gotta
I
get
swear
going.
to God,
we
Jackson.
got morning drills. I'm slipping into like a New Jersey accent. We have morning drills. Honey, I love you. I love you more than the first break of dawn, and I will be back as soon as I can. I promise you.
I
Alright?
was gonna go stay with my mother on Staten Island, but I love you. I know that sometimes we get a little toxic, but just come home
I will.
Come
I
home.
promise you. I promise you, and I promise. I
and open that envelope I gave you.
did. It was the sweetest.
Her voice is getting staticky. Like,
It was the sweetest
Open-
thing I ever heard. Honey,
love
and he goes out.
goes dead.
He looks
Camera
over and
pans on your wife, the two twins, fucking screaming and yelling, throwing cereal in the air.
fuck. I raised him better than that.
I'm not gonna relight this joint, but she just pulls out a cigarette. And she's just like, God fucking damn it.
He looks
That's
over
what
at
you
Ned.
get when you put sanity damage on your wife.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. He like looks over at he's like looking over at Meg and goes, I suppose that was an attempt at humor.
I was wondering if you wanted coffee.
And he like looks back. He's like, did I just imagine that? I don't. Yeah, I could use it.
Okay.
Thank you. I
I'm gonna text Indian Tony and see if he wants to meet us for lunch.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah. So you text Indian Tony. It's like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
You see like the scent
Yeah.
thing, but not red.
She doesn't expect an immediate response.
But it definitely went through.
Okay.
So it seems like at least in Cold Lake, the cell towers are back online. Like all of your phones work.
Okay.
Not great, like for the FaceTime or whatever that Jackson just did, but it's adequate.
Yeah. Well, she just puts together her concoction of colorful pills and drinks some coffee with it.
Alex grabs a Coke, like a can of Coke for breakfast, and he kind of just eschews, like, he doesn't go for, like, maybe there's, like, some sort of, like, breakfast stuff, but out of his backpack, he pulls out a Dunkaroos. He just has a really
Love that
Oh,
he's such
man.
a fucking child.
Dude. Yeah, so he
I dig
brought
it.
some from home because it's his
If you
favorite,
don't finish
and
the icing, I will.
it helps his brain. The sugar
Just
really helps.
Just a Coca-Cola and Dunkaroos to start the day.
Yeah.
And your
You know-
fridge of Monster.
I'm kind of like referencing. There's always a little bit of every character and a little bit of yourself in every character. But I was recently telling a story about when I was 19. I was living in a house with like 6 dudes, and the only thing I had in the kitchen that was mine was like just spaghetti and like red sauce, and I would have that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for like 2 years.
Oh man.
Not 2
I
years. But, you know what
I
I mean?
have
So it's like,
I have 100% lived that way, and
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
it was the most cost effective. I was putting myself through school. It was the whole
Yep.
thing. It was like
You
this
do
is
what you
it.
got to do.
Yeah, but
No,
for
that's
Alex,
fair.
it's just that
Honestly-
he's, this is how he is.
I think every good story has a little adversity, and I think living with a little adversity makes us more empathetic, more understanding, and more
Definitely.
grateful.
Yeah.
I'm with it, man. I definitely lived that way. Shit. 20% for making me nostalgic.
Yeah.
Clearly, your 20% bonuses are related to how you make me feel. If I laugh or get nostalgic or etc. What about Benny? What about James? What's happening? What about Megan?
Benny and the James.
Yeah, Megan's just having her coffee and morning cocktail of drugs, so.
Just like,
Yep.
yep. All right. Awesome.
James drinks his coffee black, but man, he's shaking his head at the pills.
Hey man,
Pills.
Oh,
I
uh,
don't judge. You don't judge me.
Shook.
It's like me and a turkey leg
Good point.
for breakfast.
Turkey leg. That doesn't look bad.
Oh yeah, there's definitely leftover turkey.
Right out.
There's a shitload of
Yeah,
it.
cold. Cold, or do you heat it?
Cold. Of course.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Also,
Always better the next
Babushka
day.
made like turkey salad, turkey
She's
stew,
too good to us.
chili, all the things you could possibly think of. What about our stoic soldier?
Which,
Miss
side note
Benny.
here, I have never had a pierogi. personally.
Really?
Oh, you're
Oh,
missing
really?
out.
Okay.
You can just
You
get
grow
some
up in
at the
South
store,
Central,
fry them up in some
Texas.
oil. Even those.
So good.
Yeah, they're not.
Okay.
They're not really big in South Central Texas, so you don't. You know.
All of you are welcome at my home anytime, but I will make pierogies if you ask. Or the next time I see you at some GCN event, I'll be like, "Here's some
Yeah,
pierogies."
he's like tots, like
they probably
Napoleon,
suck
only
by
it's pierogies.
Do you have any thoughts?
So Benny gets up early and goes for a long run, trying to think about what he makes sense of what he saw last night. as he was closing the laptop,
Sure.
and then follows that up with a nice quick shower and a large cup of black coffee.
All right. So as you go for your run, there's no more security personnel at the doors of the hangars. You run outside. The air is clear, though it still stinks like ozone. There's water everywhere. Hail damage, as I described before, like, damage to the buildings, etc. But you do, you stay dry throughout your run. As you make your way back into the hangar, grab your cup of coffee, and Colonel McLeod, our base commander. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh, did I miss James? That
Speak
was
now,
like
forever hold your peace.
James
No,
just had some
I'm
black
good.
coffee and judged Megan for her
All right.
Whole turkey leg.
Just in the corner, like, oh my god, you guys
You've got
are
your
fucking
drug of
lunatics.
choice, your turkey.
Is Megan a vegetarian?
No.
No. Heck no.
She's no.
Oh, that's right. She ate a big old thing of turkey. That's
Yep.
right. That's right.
She's not got enough morals to be a vegetarian.
So you see Colonel McLeod come up. He was the one who welcomed you to the base yesterday. Morning.
Morning.
Storm hit hard. We've got reports of significant damage at infrastructure points. Synovus refinery at Lloydminster took a direct hit.
Anybody hurt?
We need to get you home.
Oh,
Oh.
Trade show is over. The demonstrations are over. The training is over. But we need your skill sets. We need you to make your way home. Edmonton Airport is still down. There's no air traffic. We checked up on your plane. Looks over at James. Somehow it survived. There's also
Good.
a much more upgraded plane next to yours with no wings if you need parts. And he's like, yeah, Synovus Lloydminster took a hit. Head there first. They don't have power. They don't have communications. All we've heard are some scrambled radio
wait, where?
transmissions. Lloydminster. It's about 2 hours away.
Okay.
The airport, right?
It's on the way back to Edmonton.
Oh, the refinery, or the refinery, the drilling plant.
Where was it that Dylan or Tony worked?
Precision drilling.
Oh. You said one episode 2 hours away.
Dylan worked at PD, and yes, Indian Tony works at the Synovus Lloydminster refinery.
Oh, so
Right.
he's down there. Okay. I'll text him again and say that we're going to be passing through.
Once you're done at Lloyd, head to Edmonton. They're doing relief efforts. Tornadoes are still touching town. You got your mobile accommodations. And then once you're ready to go home, once the airport opens back up, just commandeer it back to the military and we'll continue taking care of people. It's not what we wanted for you Americans here. And he gives you like a very official looking salute. Like it's not disrespectful. He's like, we are colleagues. We're in a shit situation. I am sorry.
Yeah. I hope there
Then he-
hasn't
then he
been
returns
anybody
it.
hurt.
Yeah, around you, like nobody's hurt. The people that you've been in this bus with, the old lady, Babushka, she's like, I'm going to stay behind. You take this where it needs to go. It'll make it back to me. This isn't the first time.
But
And she
Who will
hands
cook for
one
us?
of you the keys with a drive skill.
does any of us have drive? I mean, more than the
Yep.
basic
60.
20.
Yeah.
No.
I've got
I do.
50.
Okay.
Oh,
60.
Designated driver.
Oh,
Benny
had the
has
six-
60, which is like very like on
That's good.
point for his character.
yeah. You wanna take this one, Benny? Think you know your way around it?
I don't
Prime
want to
vehicle more
drive
than I
this
do.
big old thing.
Oh, is it for the
I
bus?
think we're driving the bus.
But
Oh.
Double decker.
it's your
Yeah.
temporary accommodation.
Fuck yeah.
It's-
Well,
Oh,
Until you give it back to the Canadian military and go the fuck
We
home.
could just
Go-
drive it
the
all
couch
the
on
way
top.
into the United States. How far? Take it with us.
could do that. You could
Yeah,
definitely
but
do
you
that.
got to drop me off an Nintendo.
So Benny takes the keys and he just says, "Thank you, ma'am. I'll make sure we get it returned to you safe and sound."
Eventually.
And he,
Human.
Yes, your hospitality has been most kind, and we will. I will endeavor to repay it back one day. Thank you so much.
She hugs all of you. Not. It's not gross, but like you can smell like body odor on her because she's been working so hard. And she's like, there are meals, there are drinks, there is everything you could possibly need in that refrigerator. And please, when you're done with it, please, 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 give it to people who have been displaced by these storms. And she looks out the hangar door towards the sky. I'm not sure we've seen the worst of it.
Oh gosh.
Well, I certainly hope we have. But I understand.
All right.
head to the
Right.
driver's seat.
All right, give me that drive
Oh.
so I can narrate this effectively.
Come on, 99. Let's go.
It's only a couple hours. You've got a full tank of gas.
What could
You guys
go
are
wrong?
hanging out while this is going on. Maybe playing some cards. Maybe cleaning your rifles.
Hit the gas, drive, roll.
Gong,
Nice.
gong, gong, gong,
Nice.
gong, 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 gong.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, you see the camera like a drone shot behind the bus, and there's like muted overcast light filtering through our shot, and there's like a gray hue over the landscape. There's storm clouds everywhere you can look, tornado funnel clouds just in and out of vision, and these flat prairies are just stretching out endlessly. You see the occasional flicker of lightning just like lighting up the inside of the bus. And as you roll through for the next couple hours, you're in like small storm damaged towns. There's emergency vehicles flashing blue and red, yellow, and you're making your way down to Lloydminster. And as Benny is driving, he is very focused on the road ahead, not his rearview mirror. But those of you who do capture some of those images from the rearview mirrors, this is sort of what I just described, what you see. And you just feel Benny just and get the bus back in the lane on Highway 62. And it's swerving because wind was just like beating against it. But he keeps you out of the ditch. And you sort of brace yourselves. You're like playing cards. You're doing whatever you're doing. And you're just like, oh, it's like when a plane drops in altitude. You're just like, holy fuck, okay, all right. And we see our bus now, tight shot from the front of the bus, pulls up. And you see a sign that says Synovus Lloydminster. There's smoke coming out of the refinery. There's rain swirling around. Again, emergency lights. There's sort of a faint scent, even though the windows are up on the bus, there's sort of a faint scent of like diesel or burning oil in the air. And we pull out to a wide shot, and there's like a bit of chaos. There are workers coming out, like holding each other up, coming out of the refinery. There are people with clipboards, like trying to assess the damage. There are EMTs scrambling people into ambulances. And we close with a drone shot that runs through the refinery. There's like twisted pipes. Oil is leaking everywhere. The metal structures are bent like a tornado hit it. There's puddles of water mixing with oil, olefins, natural gas products, hydrocarbons everywhere. In the distance, there are high voltage power lines. You see a lightning bolt come down and just destroy a transformer. And as our drone comes through, you can hear the emergency generators start up, just emergency lights go on. There's safety sirens going off in the plant. And we go out to our bus as you arrive. And there are two people who run up one swings the door open, and he's like screaming. The wind is so fucking loud. As he swings the door open, it is almost torn off its hinges. Like it's just like out of his hand as quickly as it's in his hand. And he's screaming, and he's like, "Storms tore through here. Tornado ripped apart the main power station. We've got emergency crews, but it's bad." And he gestures back towards the refinery. You can barely hear him. And another officer runs up. He's got a high-vis yellow vest, clean work boots, brand new white construction hat on, clearly new to whatever this is. "We've lost power half the town. You're all here for a reason. We know that the military sent you. You," points at Alex. "We need to get the safety systems back online in the refinery before this whole fucking place blows up."
Oh.
Looks at Benny and looks at James. "You two. We know that you understand how the environment works. We know that you understand combat. We don't know what happened in there, but not a single operator's made it out of there." Looks at Megan. "You. Keep these idiots safe." Looks up at Jackson Shaw. "If somebody needs to be taken down, take them down. Somebody, something, some people deliberately took advantage of this community during this time. Don't let them get away." And then there's like police officers, RCMP, there's a bunch of people fucking running around, just like interrogating people, getting people again onto ambulances. There's people now filtering into the area where the refinery is, which is roughly in the center of Cold Lake, Lloydminster. From both sides of the provinces are coming in and looking for like food, shelter, water, people with babies, pets, and so forth.
Shaw's gonna talk to this guy like before he leaves. He goes, You said there was sabotage, some deliberate action. What did you see? You see people? You see people causing trouble?
Nothing.
What's going on?
I saw nothing. The storm came in. It fucking ripped this place apart.
How'd you know?
Every time we called out to the operators, all I could hear was nonsense until there was nothing.
Nonsense? What kind of nonsense?
Just gibberish. I assume they were afraid like we were. I probably wasn't in my right mind either. God knows what I was saying.
And the operators are still inside, as far as you know?
The operators are still inside. That safety system needs a reset. We've got to keep this town safe before this place fucking blows.
Is this system we have to go through inside to get to the system? There's no access point outside, exterior?
Oh, great question. He points to looks like an office door, not too far from where you are. He's like, that leads into the control room. And he gives you a badge, like an access card. That'll get you in, but don't forget to put on your protective equipment. You'll find what you need in the annex.
Okay. I don't have any. Okay. Alex is stressed out.
All right. Let's.
I as the handler?
Yeah, let's form up and form a plan. He is gonna sort of like gather the group. I assume this guy is gonna like move on. I'm gonna wait for him to like leave.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Unless anyone else wants to ask him something. Weird. He's talking about sabotage. He's not saying what he heard. I don't know who told him that. I don't know what he heard, but looks over at Alex and Megan and say, maybe our friends, the Splinter Cell, has something to do with this.
That's what I'm worried
Jump to
about.
conclusions. Speaking in gibberish does not. I don't know what that means, but I don't really want to find out. But here's my thought. I know I've worked with a lot of local police. I'm gonna police local police, and
Police.
I'll see what they know. I can ask them if they have any any updates, anything they've seen that's out of the ordinary, or anything. They know how to enter this building if there's a better access point.
This is where Tony
I
works,
don't-
isn't it?
I believe so, right?
Yep.
Yup.
I
Yeah.
want to get in there, and I
bro.
think at least a couple of us need to stay close to Alex. Because
think-
if someone wants it offline, then they're not going to be happy with it bringing back online.
Yeah, and I'm worried about splitting up too much.
Me too.
I mean-
with this chaos, it'd be tricky to regroup.
And if there is some kind of attack, like they're saying, may not be a good idea to let ourselves become easier pickings. You know what I mean?
Well, they said we could get body armor or something, right? What everyone? You guys
Oh,
you guys like decked out and shit?
Well, I brought
I'm
my
gearing up,
home.
yeah.
He pulls out his jacket and like taps on his vest.
Oh, they offered you PPE, so like
Yeah.
fire retardant suits, steel toe boots, construction
Yeah.
hats, safety goggles, earplugs,
Those would be good to have
Yeah.
too.
and a Scott pack. A Scott pack is like it's like an oxygen tank, and you put it over your face if you're in like a very hazardous.
Okay, well, all that sounds like good to have around.
Yeah.
And
I'll
so
include
so
my
ba-
sidearm.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
normal.
Absolutely.
It's normal that people would wear that in a industrial setting like this. It's not body armor.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I was.
I mean, it is in a sense,
sense.
but yes.
I have a light,
Flak jacket or something.
bulletproof vest. Yeah, I was gonna say flak jacket. That's not wear anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, sure.
EPA around the front.
Yeah, you can fit
Enforcement
overalls. You can fit overalls over top of that. There's like one XL1 or whatever. You can zip it up over the
Yeah.
bulletproof vest.
Cool.
So Benny kind of says, looks around and says, we need to be prepared for any eventuality. And he sort of makes eye contact with Shaw and Rutherford and Parks, and he, just gestures to his sidearm as well. And,
Yeah, Megan
The
kind of pulls
underlying
back
meaning
her
there,
leather
be
jacket. You
prepared.
can, she's got a
yeah.
holster and, a pistol.
And there's just kind of a, one of these. Yeah.
Alex is watching and just is like doesn't like guns and doesn't like that he has to go into a situation where guns may be drawn, and he's just like, yeah,
You just
not chill.
focus on your job. That's all you got to worry about.
Yeah, just
Yeah, we can.
my job is usually. Yeah, I know.
Look at us. We got your back.
understand.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah, we'll make sure. We'll make sure to. Make sure you can do your job.
And we'll do ours.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's head in. And I guess we're keeping our eyes peeled for just kind of being alert, looking around.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Last Dunkaroo and hit.
And it's on.
Last Dunkaroo.
That's the name of
There's
this
the garbage can.
episode. Is the
Racing
last
container,
Dunkaroo.
The last Dunkaroo.
I love that.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you start making your way over. You don your PPE, your personal protective equipment.
Yeah.
You have Scott packs. You have fire retardant overalls. You have steel toe boots, construction hat, safety goggles, earplugs, as mentioned before. You start making your way into the next area. Like after you put all that stuff on, badge again, walk in, badge again, you walk in.
Real quick before we get over there, could I talk to the local cops that we saw over just to see if they have any more info on if any of the operators have been seen, if anyone's been in contact, like where sort of the most, like just anything that they know that might be like of most concern at the moment.
Sure.
I roll like persuade maybe to see what they're willing to share.
I like that.
All right. Come on, baby. Oh, God, I just...
And they're just like, stick to your mission. I know you're here to help us. I know this is one you signed up for coming to our country, but we need your help.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just trying to...
Over and out.
Okay. All right. Yep. It's just... That's what my
I
mission
thought
is.
Canadians
All
were
right.
nice.
That's what I thought, but... All right, well, that was unfortunate. Let's keep on keeping on, shall we?
By all means.
I did bring some other equipment, my wrecking bar and other tools, and I'll leave the evidence collection kit behind, but putting some other stuff in the backpack.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what I can bring. I'm not gonna bring like all of my stuff because I feel like
I left the tactical body armor at home.
yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, got my vest and my helmet. Light.
You make your way into the control room.
Yeah.
Alex
Cool.
is very aware of the weight of his fancy laptop in his backpack. And you're like, I can restore a safety system. This is within my purview. And our camera then shifts to like a wide shot as the door is pushed open to the control room. It's from the perspective of the control room. And as your flashlights are sort of sweeping across the room, you see blood smeared across the walls, streaked in like what look like kind of deliberate patterns. The air is heavy with the smell of copper, the smell of blood in the air. And our camera lingers on some of those smears, zooming in as it comes back to you, making your way across the wall. And our camera tilts down to reveal bodies in the control room. 6 of them.
Whoa.
Arrayed. Their limbs are twisted, their eyes are open, lifeless, their mouths are frozen in like silent screams.
I put my hands over Alex's eyes.
I've seen Predator, man.
Game over, man. Game over.
Game over.
The windows that look out into the processing units and the functional area of the refinery, which would normally be like, very well protected glass, are all blown out. And you can smell like the acrid aroma of burnt oil, hydrocarbons, propane, those kind of smells that we've all smelled.
Propane accessories.
And propane accessories.
Sorry.
And, from the background, Mr. Strickland comes. No.
I knew it.
But I will need spot hidden. If anybody, an equivalent of spot hidden.
Is this?
Did we decide that was search or?
Are we searching?
We got it.
Either you could do search alertness. You could do.
I'm going to be searching the bodies for cause of death, so that's why I'm rolling search.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally. I'm really
I'm gonna
searching.
keep my alertness up.
No, that's success.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
Benny.
you
Oh no.
Critical fail.
got
Oh,
something in
no.
your eye.
That.
Yeah. Ow.
All right.
Betty.
So Jackson, Alex, Megan, and James, as you enter this room, which is kind of fitting because Benny wasn't a big part of your previous night, and it seems like so fucking, not your previous night, but the one before, seems like so fucking long ago. But you're all kind of looking at each other, and you're just like, something's off here. Oh, crit fail. And Benny is just looking out the windows, these blown out windows, and just like, what is happening here? What is this? Trying to assess the situation. Is it a safety issue? Is it a gas leak? Is it a overpressure of a vessel? What's going on? Like, you've stepped over dead bodies before, and you're just kind of ignoring that. The rest of you, as you observe these bodies, I need sanity rolls from everyone but Benny.
Damn.
Come on, baby.
Come on.
Ah,
Papa needs a new pair of something. Oh yeah.
Nice.
I
Dude, your boy's level
failed.
0 coming in hot.
Oh.
How did Alex pass? This.
I've got my
his
hand
eyes are covered.
oversized.
All right. Crit success with the hand over the eyes. Success from
Nice.
Jackson, Megan, and James. Success. Okay, Megan.
Yeah,
So everyone but Alex who succeeded. So that would be Jackson and James. Go ahead and take 2 points of sanity damage as you are looking at these bodies on the floor. And Megan with the failure will take 2 points of sanity damage as well, as you're sort of looking at these images on the screens in the control room that you can see on your foundry. And it looks like the bodies are placed in a very similar way.
And remember,
And-
everyone, if you've gotten sanity loss without going insane, mark one down for adaptation to violence.
mm.
Oh, what would I lost sanity for some other reason? I just can't remember what it was.
If it's violence or helplessness, you can mark
The
it.
computer code. The computer code.
Right. I was actually thinking the reason why I'm not having any sanity issues looking at these symbols and everything is because I was literally spent hours the night before predisposing myself to
Yeah.
images, like this.
You're like, this is gonna fucking scare me. This
If
creepy
anything,
pasta.
it's like connecting threads for me. That's almost exciting, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
And our camera goes from these, so you can tell me what that loss of sanity looks like as we pan back. But our camera is gonna pan along the walls, and written in blood are a few messages, and you can see it. It's like jagged, smeared. He is returning. He is coming. She is here. The blood dripping down into these control panels.
What in the hell? is
Megan had
this?
leaned down to look at one of the bodies and was glancing around, and suddenly all those drugs and the coffee in her stomach just turns to acid, and she picks up a wastebasket and throws up.
Nice.
Um,
That's a very normal reaction to a situation like this.
I think what I want to actually do is I want to roll. I have a fucking high forensics.
Sure.
So you said that they're arranged a certain way, possibly to like align with the images. I just kind of want to see if like the spatter is like very deliberate or if it is kind of random or whatever you can tell me, I guess, from
Sure.
whatever the result of this roll is.
Yeah. And again, I mean, you've been on these like internet boards. You're a skeptic.
Yeah.
Which is a healthy way to be. And you start looking around, and it does look very deliberate. The way the bodies were placed, the way their limbs are broken, the way the blood is on the walls. It looks like somebody was trying to evoke the same physical imagery as the digital imagery of these symbols,
Alex and the
which are
hazmat
clearly
suit.
the same symbols that you've been following through this.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Alex in the hazmat suit starts breathing just like a little, hey, guys, they got broken limbs here too to make them coincide with the, I mean, you see, like, look, and like, he's like trying to like he's not like picking up on the cue of like Megan just fucking vomited, but he's like in it, and he's like trying to get people to come like look closer at it.
Ugh. How did they die?
Oh yeah, I guess, I don't know.
With that 51, looks like bludgeoning, which kind of fits, like a tornado ripped through here. Glasses blown out on the control room. It's not abnormal, their injuries.
There's no
and stuff. Like,
gunshot
it's not like
wounds.
their necks. Yeah, their necks aren't slit, gunshot, anything
Yeah.
like super violent like that. It's just they met their unfortunate end.
Can Biddy do a first aid roll to see if there's any slight threads of life on anyone, anything,
Sure.
or is it like just
love it.
totally obvious?
Good call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love a cold rolling Delta Green. All right.
Well,
Yeah, Benny, you're looking at them and you pick up Buddy's hand, and it's just like blip.
Ugh.
They are rubbery. They have clearly been dead for more than 8 hours.
cold, I guess. Yeah.
And all the while that this is going on, you hear the sirens going off in this plant.
Fuck. I would say I'd imagine that the sanity loss that Shaw sustained, it like sends him into like hyper vigilance. He's just like immediately like hand on his gun, just sort of like scanning the entire room, just entirely focused on like any other points of entry, any other points of exit. Where like are we being targeted? Like, is this a trap? Is something set? So he's just that's sort of like gonna draw his attention.
Are there
Yeah. Just like being-
windows? Does it look like the people died in here? Like stuff came in, or they were dragged in here? Mr. Forensics,
question.
does it look? Do
That's
you
a
see
good
blood
question.
trails from dragging?
I don't know, Elias. What do you want from to govern this?
I'll take your last forensics.
Okay.
The success. I will also, if you want me to narrate it, I will. If you want to narrate it, that's cool too, about what you find.
I mean, I would love to. I just want to make sure it's. I have basically freedom to roam here.
Yes, that is me telling you that. Yes.
Um,
We've gone off script so many times in this. It's fucking incredible. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
What does Alex find?
yeah. I mean, check this out. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Like, this. If these bodies, what was that, Benny? You're thinking like 8 hours they've been dead?
At least.
God, that would have been really late shift, right? I think. No, look at this. And you start seeing him walk. And there's blood all over the room, but like he said, he's like examining the pattern. Like he's like looking at the screens with the symbols, and he's like, if like the blood should also be here to match that. And he's like finding more blood around the room, like where it should line up exactly with the symbols. And he's just like, I'm not seeing, I don't know exactly how, but like I'm not seeing like drag marks, but the body is, in order to like make it make sense with the goddamn, look at that shit on the screen. Like, it doesn't make sense unless everything's exactly where it is. And look, the blood is like immaculately placed. There's no smears, there's no drags, there's no footsteps. It's just there. How do you do that? How do you do that cleanly?
Yeah. It's
That was sick.
That's
you'd have to chop them up, but while they'd still have blood in them, and then move them and then put them cleanly.
this does not
but
make
then-
sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But what we know is that someone did this. So
In the game.
maybe a group, maybe the entire group, everyone with those pins. We gotta assume we have active hostiles in this facility.
Megan takes out her phone and
Better be
starts to
ready.
video the room to kind of distance herself from it.
Yeah.
But we gotta focus on why we're here. You need to get the systems back online.
I can help start moving some of this out of the way if it'll help.
Are any of them wearing the pins? Did we search for that?
Oh,
already?
good question.
Sir-
Good question. None of them
Search?
are
Oh.
wearing the pins,
Okay.
but that was a great question.
Good.
This is the room where this is the room I have to do my work in, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Since Alex doesn't have any sanity loss or anything, I think he's just be like, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, let's just get to work. Let's get the fuck out of here. If there's, let's just do it. So he like goes and finds a flat surface, puts the laptop out, looks for like a port or like just like some way to interface with this. I'm
Yeah.
not
There's
sure
like
if
a USB
Okay.
sure that you can buy. There's security, but you can bypass it
right, and I'm not going to pretend to
with
like
an
I know
80
about all
and
this
comp
shit.
sci.
Yeah. But Alex does, and yeah, so he goes about doing what he's been told to do. So the generators are running, so there's power. So if I make changes, theoretically, things should flip on.
Yeah, basically, they were like, make this place safe. So like, your interface now, and you can see like there are vessels that have overpressurized because of the because of the glitches, and in order to restore the safety system, like all those vessels need to be clean.
It's like that
In the
mission
sense of
always
like
gets
pressure, pressure management, stuff like that. That they're not just going.
And that's
against
something that can be done
So-
from the control panel? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, releasing pressure with the valves and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yep.
Getting temperatures to nominal levels, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
Cakewalk for Alex. Shall I have a roll about it?
Yeah. Computer science, please.
I'm going to remember I have that 20 just in case here. I feel like
Yeah.
I can't fail this roll.
I'll let you know if you failed before you roll it. You succeed. It was a harder roll than your target, but
Oh, shit. Okay, cool.
you do well, and you manage to get into the SIS system, the safety instrument system, and it responds, and you're resetting it and like going through like all the interlocks and like, okay, this vessel needs to be this compressor needs to do that, blah 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 blah, blah, to try to get this thing to go. And you go to execute it, and you see, you can hear like the refinery like coming back online, like, and like pressure going through pipes, filling up vessels, compressors starting to activate, and then all of a sudden the whole thing just goes.
Fuck. Wait,
And
hold on.
on your control screen in front of you, you can see tank 1, tank 2, tank 3, tank 4. The first 3 all good on the startup. Tank 4 overpressure. And it looks like the valve is stuck, like you can't control it. So it needs to be like manually opened up in order to relieve the pressure in that vessel.
Guys, shit. This is not my fault. It's not my fault. There's the fourth tank. Come look at this, and like I try to show like the screen. This is not my fault. This is not my fault.
It's all right. It's all right. Just tell us what happened. Just tell us what happened.
Fourth, look at this tank. Everything else nominal levels. Fourth tank, I can't get it to seal. It's a lot of pressure in there right now. We're gonna have to manually close.
Where is it? Is there a schematic
and then
of
I'll pull it
in the
yeah.
office that shows?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Connected to the safety system, Alex can like basically double click and it'll show like a route to that specific piece of equipment.
Shit. We gotta move though. That's not good.
Is there like a instant response plan or something hanging up in a floor somewhere?
Right.
Yeah, there is.
Like
there
right in
is,
case of overpressure.
Really good
Yeah.
question. Basically, you there is a red notebook that says ERP, Emergency Response Plan, right on it.
Oh hell yeah!
I used to have to write these.
Right.
And, you pop it off the bookcase or whatever, and you flip through it, and it's like, in case of vessel over pressurization, SIS doesn't respond, manual intervention with an SIS operator at the console. Inferring that someone needs to open this valve in order for Alex to finally execute on the safety system to bring this whole, not make more fucking asphalt and oil and diesel and shit, but
Not
just
blow
make
up.
it not blow up. Yep.
So I've got to stay here to execute it once the.
Oh, we gotta split up.
Games will go.
I'm.
So Betty volunteers to go turn the valve. I picture it. It's like one of those radial turn deals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
need
like
to
it's like a automated control valve, but there's definitely like a wheel on it. There's always the manual interlock. Benny, give me like a perception-related roll.
Good old alertness. The old standby?
Alertness. Yep, that works.
No.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
All
Whew,
right.
I thought it was gonna land on 70 something.
17. And Benny, you look out into the refinery, and you're looking over at your colleagues that have the ERP plan in front of them. Alex at the control console, he's gotten a hold of this. These altered symbols are no longer on the screens. Megan is keeping everybody grounded and sort of reacting. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm getting to, Slip. And reacting to all of that. And we see a bit of bubbling coming out of a tank off in the background that Benny can see from those broken windows in the control room. And it looks otherworldly. There is sort of like a bulbous mass coming out of the
Oh
tank.
no. I don't like that.
Oh, that
And
was gross.
that is where we are going to end tonight. You read my mind, Slip. That's what I was leading up to. Was a little clip.
Oh, God.
Cue the theme song.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like it.